You can sense the intensity as they await the arrival of the Tennessee team here at Cleveland Stadium. The #1 undefeated Volunteers prepare to race onto the field. Everything is riding on this football game. So there's a special intensity, a special urgency. Here come the Volunteers. Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
What's going on, Vol fans? What's up, SEC fans? Bobby C here, aka Catfish, and we've got a awesome show in store for you guys today. We've got a special guest. A lot of y'all know that I'm been trying to raise some money for Fishing for Soldiers, and with this hurricane bearing down on us, starting to hit land now, there's a lot up in the air as far as the weather for our next week fishing trip. So we decided to push it off to October's the 6th. And I've got Jason with Fishing for Soldiers. He's on with us right now, and I wanted to bring him on the show to kind of tell everybody about what Fishing for Soldiers does. We're going to talk about their annual fishing tournament they have every year, and we're also going to have our fishing trip during this fishing tournament. So I've got Jason McCormick on the line. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing good, Bobby. How are you?
I'm doing real good. Hey, I wanted to take the opportunity. Everybody, most of you out there watching this have seen my video with Captain Scott Manning of the Tennessee River Monsters fishing guy, the guy we're going to be going fishing with. But we're raising money for Fishing for Soldiers, and I don't know that a lot of people, maybe outside of the Southeast, I don't know what your reach is on this fishing tournament is, but tell the viewers of the Volunteer Roadshow what Fishing for Soldiers is all about.
Absolutely. So it's going into its 5th year this year. We have an annual fishing tournament every October. All of the money raised is donated back to the Smoky Mountain Service Dogs. A little bit backstory on me. I'm an injured member of the armed forces. I was in the Army. Started this event as a way to continue to give back. I picked the Smoky Mountain Service Dogs. They change people's lives. That's the bottom line. It costs them to raise a dog $20,000 to $25,000, and it takes approximately 1,500 training hours before they get a veteran a dog. And they do all of this at no cost to the veteran. So this veteran doesn't pay for anything that goes on with his dog. They're truly life-changing, and the event is a fishing tournament, but it's so much more. We are one of the only events in the country to do a kayak and bass boat tournament. We offer a full fare for families. We have vendors, rides, games, prizes, food, you name it. It's a total family day.
This fishing tournament, as far as, could you tell everybody where it's going to be at and what time to be there? And is it just for people that are going to be entering into the tournament, or can people just come out and watch and hang out? Kind of give us a rundown on that.
Yeah, absolutely. We want the entire community to be there. Last year we had 7 states represented at this event, all the way out to the state of Indiana. The event is for everybody. Come out. The weigh-in starts at 3 o'clock. If you want to come see some huge fish, you want to talk to Bassmaster Elite Pros, we've got them fishing. We've got them at the event. Everything is open to the public. So if you just want to come and eat, meet some veterans, see what we've got going on, I encourage everybody to come out to the event.
Now, I seen on your Facebook page, Fishing for Soldiers Facebook page, and everybody should go check it out, like and follow that page. But you're actually got a Bassmasters Fishing Pro, Elite Pro, looking to start a contest or something about going fishing with him. Now, isn't that a little bit unfair, getting to go with a Bassmaster Pro?
Maybe, but it is all for a good cause. We do have Brandon Card. He does fish on the Bassmaster Elite Series. He is also local here in Knoxville, Tennessee. He's a huge driving force behind this event. We have other elite pros, John Murray, Skylar Hamilton. They all fish this event.
Wow.
John Murray last year finished second place, and he actually turned around and donated all of his money back to the Smoky Mountain Service Dogs. So these guys are top-notch guys. And the event is October 6th in Lenoir City, just outside Knoxville at the Canal Boat Launch. And the sponsorship behind this, it reaches worldwide. We have companies in Japan who donate to us to this event. We give away over $30,000 in cash and prizes. Oh,
wow. Now, my buddy Tim Irwin, he's going to be going fishing with us in April. He does a big fishing tournament out there. I think he told me he's going to start it in May, but I believe it's in Lenoir City too. And both of you guys do a great job. Now, from what I understand, I'm going to be there helping out with Scott Manning before we go fishing to help everybody get off. And we're going to go fishing with whoever wins the tournament, the drawing. And when we get back, I'm going to try to get the crowd fired up for some college football. Now, you said I'm not going to look like a schmuck up there trying to get Tennessee fans fired up. There's going to be some Tennessee fans there, right?
I mean, you're probably going to have between 300 and 600 antsy UT fans during a bye week. They're going to be fired up for the following week and hopefully coming off a win the previous week. So there will be no disappointment in the crowd.
Well, we got Couch Coach. He's on hold right now, but we will have come off of a big win against Florida, a big monster win down between the hedges in Georgia, and on this bye week, I say we're going to be fired up. We've got to be fired up. And but I do appreciate you coming on. You're going to post this contest, this drawing on Fishing for Soldiers website that I'm trying to do. And I really look forward to going. I really do. I'm a fisherman at heart, and I look forward to hanging out with the fans. And I'm going to try to get a lot of the viewers from my show that want to come see me to come down there and see me at the fishing tournament. I had everything set up for this Friday, but with the storm the way it is, it looks like it's best to put it off to October the 6th. And, man, I really look forward to it. Now tell me something. I believe in some of our conversations. You know, me and Scott, we're big-time Tennessee fans. I mean, you can't get any bigger Tennessee fan than Scott Manning. Now, who's your team?
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna go Big Ten on you. I'm from the Pittsburgh area. I know. I'm going with the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Uh-oh. Now, we've got a regular caller and a regular viewers in here that got 2 or 3 of these numbskull Ohio State fans. Now, y'all going to be able to take care of the Buckeyes this year for me? I'm tired of them chirping on my show.
Well, we're going to shut that down on the 29th. I don't see it being a real problem this year. We had a rocky start the first game, but it's just the first game. You get that worked out. And I don't think it's going to be any problem this year to roll on over them.
Well, I appreciate it, Jason. We might have you on the show when we actually do the drawing next week. But I wanted to give everybody a chance to know, where the money's going. And I'm glad you got on here and told everybody about Fishing for Soldiers. And everybody go check the description. All the contact information and the website information, that's all in the description. So take care, and Jason, make sure your Penn State Nittany Lions take care of Ohio State Buckeyes. Have a good one.
I will pass the word on to Penn State.
Thank you. Well, you guys, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. Penn State's going to take care of Ohio State. I know Delusional Paul, he was in here earlier, and he's the most delusional fan that I believe I've ever run across in my life. But we've got Spencer from Rover Sports. Everybody knows who Spencer is, and if you don't, his information is down in the description. And, of course, we got Couch Coach, our betting guru, that's going to help y'all make the rent money, make your light bill, anything else. We've been pretty good, and I appreciate Spencer and Daniel coming on the show. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Catfish. I'm a huge fan of the show. Wanted to co-host this for a little while, so I can't wait to come on the show. If you follow my betting advice, then I can assure you, you will probably lose your house. But that's just me, and we're going to have a heck of a time talking to SEC fans, talking to college football fans about this weekend.
Well, there's not a lot going on, and I wanted to remind y'all the phone lines are open. I see we have another guest that I wanted to introduce to you, another YouTuber, Lego on Fuego. I believe that's Spanish for fire. He's on hold, but I'll get to him in a minute. But you could call the show at 855-489-7623. And Daniel, we've been on fire.
Yes,
we have been on fire this year, hadn't we?
Well, we're 5-2 against the line, and I think 6-1 straight up. So yeah, I mean that's 70% in the last 2 weeks. So we'll see if the trend keeps going and going and going.
Well, there's not a lot happening. What's the game of the week for us? Did you say it was Auburn LSU? Where's the line at right now?
Sure. So I'm looking at well, you guys might look at other games, but I'm looking at Auburn LSU. I'm looking at Ohio State TCU. I'm looking at Alabama Ole Miss. I'm looking at Missouri and Purdue. And those are the main four. I think there was one other game I was interested in as well from the SEC, but it's I'm drawing a blank at this point. But those four games come off the top of my head just to start with.
Well, I don't know. I'm just the only game that really jumps off at me is that Auburn LSU game. I've been going back and forth. At first, me and you both said we're going to take Auburn all day. I think they moved the line up to what 11, minus 11 for Auburn.
It is 10.5.
10.5.
10.5 now.
Ooh.
Yep.
And it's at Auburn, right?
It's at Auburn.
Well, tell me, I'm listening. Where are you going with your money?
Here's the thing. I mean, when I look at that line, and one of the things I always try to do when I think of a game, I'm like, what is the spread going to be? And I figured for this game it would be like Auburn at like 5.5, 6. At 5.5, 6, I would have taken it. When it opens up at 9, 10, we have been seeing 10 the last 2 weeks, right? And the last 2 weeks, 10 has been covering. 10 was the spread in the Tennessee West Virginia game. West Virginia covered. 10 was the spread. It covered. So as long as I keep seeing 10, 10.5, there's got to be a reason why that line is so freaking big, especially between two opponents, especially two teams that are fairly evenly matched. Go with Auburn there. I have the confidence in their ability to dominate at home. Here a lot more. I like Burroughs. I like their defense a lot more than I like LSU's. And Auburn always has a big blowout win at home every year, and I think this could be it. I'm going to go with Auburn here.
I think I'm going to go with Auburn too. Let me jump in here. I think I'm going to go with Auburn too. I just think the defenses are kind of a wash. Auburn's got probably one of the best defensive front seven in the country. LSU's got a good defensive backfield, but I think the difference maker, I told you the other day, was going to be Stidham. I think he's a heck of a quarterback, and I think that's what's got it, and I think Auburn wins by 13-14. So what do you got, Spence?
Yeah, I have Auburn here, like, in a similar route. I have Auburn, like, 35-13. I think the game, unfortunately for SEC fans, I think it's going to be another blowout on CBS. The reason why I look at this game and think it's a blowout is because it's Auburn at Jordan-Hare. And this game reminds me so much of last year's game of Auburn and Mississippi State, where Auburn just drilled Mississippi State. And I don't know, Will Hastings is going to be back, but Darius Slayton, Ryan Davis, Jarrett Stidham is such a better quarterback. And I looked at Joe Burrow. He did okay in that Miami game, but he didn't shock me. This guy he doesn't have the ability of like a Dwayne Haskins to turn the game around. He isn't even like the Wimbush kid. His arm strength is very average. He's kind of a game manager. He's a decent kid, but I'd be shocked if he can go in the Jordan Hare and can produce. And I just look at Auburn's defense. It's unbelievable. Like you guys mentioned, like Nick Coe is spectacular. The guy Brown, I think, their defensive tackles are so fast. These are like first-round talents.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait for the game, but I see Stidham airing it out. I think he is a very good player as well.
Well, and not only that, what you think, but you got to keep in mind too that Auburn last year, I think they jumped out, or even like a 21-3 lead in that game at LSU, and they blew that game last year to a team that, quite honestly, they should not have lost on the road. They couldn't make adjustments in the second half. I think Gus is going to remember that. I think if they really this time, I think they're going to hold it with the defense they have. So
Well, it sounds like we're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's my internet connection or what. It might be yours on Daniel, but I heard most of what you said. If everybody could maybe speak up a little bit. But before we go into the Ohio State Horned Frog, we're going to make you some money on that game. I wanted to give some shout outs to people that are in the live stream. Slim Mosley's in here. How you doing? Delusional Paul, you're always in here. Go back into your hole and drinking your Big Ten Kool-Aid, Ohio State Kool-Aid. K.A. Sheehy's in here. Herbert Bradford's in the house. I believe I seen Space Mountain. Of course, we got Lego on Fuego on hold. Rob Fridley, Camden Deans, College Football Maniac. Hey, College Football Maniac, I think you told me you got your Tiki Totem. He's a South Carolina fan. Good guy. Y'all go sub him up. He's got a great channel. Yo Boy Joe, he says UT 63, UTEP 7. I think you're right on the money there, yo boy. Let's see, Ryan Neal's in the house. Crazy Ryan Schrick's in the house. Let me tell you something, Ryan. Next week, your Gators are a shamble. I tell you what, I don't know what happened. You let this savior, Dan Mullen, was supposed to be your savior. I seen you commenting on all my videos. Dan Mullen is the greatest. And he did something that no coach has done in how long, Daniel? 30-something years, wasn't it?
Since Top Gun was popular.
Oh, my goodness. So, Ryan, your team is a dumpster fire. Paul Jameson, I mentioned you. Savage Dog. Let's see, I'm going through the list. Josh Pinion's in the house. The Vol General. Y'all go check out the Vol General. I had him on my Facebook Live show this past Tuesday, and I'm starting to do a Tuesday evening Facebook Live. This last Tuesday was my first one, and it went off pretty good. So y'all go check that out. Like and follow Volunteer Roadshow on Facebook. Bryson Barnes is in the house. 10 Vol 09er. He's been following me from the beginning. And yeah, Ryan Videos and Space Mountain. That's all I've seen here. Let's see. Oh, SCC Dog. He's won a Tiki Totem. He's a big Georgia fan. And Georgia, who do y'all have this week, Daniel? Middle Tennessee?
We're Middle Tennessee. You're playing them at noon. Yeah, the game got moved up.
Yeah, I think our game got. And Bobby Durkins. Bobby Durkins is the house. Great YouTuber. Y'all go.
How you doing? How you doing, Bobby?
Hey, I actually thought that was Bobby there for a second. But anyway.
Yeah, I thought you had a soundtrack of Bobby. Like a drop on this show.
I want to introduce to y'all a Big Ten guy. He's a Michigan fan. He's got a YouTube channel. He goes by Lego on Fuego. Are you still on here, Lego?
I'm on here, Bobby. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing real good. Tell everybody who your team is and about your channel and how you got into YouTube and the direction you're going, and kind of tell everybody about yourself.
the team is. So let's not remember these last 20 years or so. Let's just remember that the Michigan Wolverines are the winningest team of all time, best percentage, and I just got into YouTube, man. I like talking football. I like talking sports. I like getting on and just the banter and everything that goes with it. A lot of fun, and I like cracking on the SEC guys. Not gonna mess around with you guys too much though today. I went to Tennessee, so. Been in the mix there.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me you got your master's degree at Tennessee. How can you go to Tennessee and not be a Tennessee fan? You don't even have a small soft spot for the Vols or anything?
No, I'm only kidding with you, man. I got all the respect in the world for Tennessee. I think with the Pruitt hire, I think they'll be right back. They got some athletes. They'll be able to recruit well. So I think they'll be fine. And I definitely enjoyed my time there. Enjoyed the tailgating there. Enjoyed the games. It just wasn't much winning going on while I was there. I was there during I don't know. I mean, you probably remember most of these guys. I had classes with Nick Gervais. He played linebacker for you guys. Had classes with Torian Poole, a couple of those guys. So, that's about the time I was there.
Well, that hadn't been too long ago. Now, you're over in South Carolina, aren't you?
I am. I live about 10 minutes away from Clemson.
Oh, okay. So how's the weather? You got a lot of rain, snow, sleet, anything going on over there?
We've had nothing here so far. It is moving inward towards us. It's supposed to go right over us, as you've seen, and just kind of go towards the Tennessee area and upward. But hopefully it'll die down a little bit by then. But got plenty of family out on the coast, so prayers are always welcome, guys.
Well, you got it. I also see my cousin Deb Marie's in the house, but let me ask you something. You're friends with Paul Jameson. He's delusional, ain't he?
Hey, that's every single Ohio State fan.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not. You know what? Paul's a big guy, man. I like him a lot, and I can agree with you a little bit there. He's a little bit delusional, but that's just having. I heard you in one of your videos one day talking about a fan being a fanatic, and so. That's just him being a fanatic, right?
Yeah. Well, could you help us settle a debate? I think it's 5-0. I was on his show 2 or 3 days ago, and he was asking everybody with the best conference, and I believe it was 5-0 SEC. And I'm trying to run up the score, so I have a feeling since you got a master's degree, you're a pretty smart fella, so I know where you're going to go on this. The best conference, Big Ten or SEC?
Yeah, man, I'm with you on the SEC, and I told Paul that. I said, I'm sorry, bud, but it's the SEC. I mean, going into the season, I thought there was a possibility that this was going to kind of be a turning page for not an overall turning page, but I thought the Big Ten was going to have a little bit of a nudge this year. But with that App State game against Penn State, Michigan blew it. Michigan State already looked bad in Week 1 and lost to Arizona State. So, and the SEC, on the other hand, a lot of their teams who I didn't think were going to be as good as they were really showed out in Weeks 1 and 2. So I got to go with the SEC.
Well,
hey, Lego, I want to ask Lego a question.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Hey, this is Rover Sports here, the co-host of this show, just for tonight. I also have a YouTube channel. I hope you're not a Detroit Lions fan, and if you are, I'm sorry.
I am. I'm a Detroit everything, man. My dad grew up in Michigan, so that's how I became a Michigan fan, a Detroit fan. And I'll tell you what, I usually don't put too much stock in the preseason, but this time around, there were a lot of red flags in the preseason for Detroit, and I was not surprised at all. And when you lose to the Jets like that on Monday night at home against a rookie quarterback in his first start, it is not looking good. If we lost to the Patriots or some team like that in that fashion, I could say, you know what, maybe that's just a one-time thing, but it's the Jets. So I'm gearing up for a long season and might be buying a good bit of kickbacks along the way.
We'll have to see if Matt Patricia will stay in Detroit. It's unbelievable how that ship has turned already.
You know what? I was down for the hire. But Patriots guys, have not really fared too well for whatever reason. I was down for the hire when it happened. I'm already and I'm not usually one of those guys. I mean, I'm a Jim Harbaugh fan, so I'm not one of those guys that jump ship too quickly. But I am. I mean, it's not looking good for Patricia early on. He's already getting some heat, and it's game 1.
Well, I'm going to go to the Ohio State Texas Christian University game. Before I do, I see a business center in here says he's a Georgia fan and loves the show. Valerie Griner's in the house. She's been following me from the beginning, so I'm giving her a big old shout out. She's a Georgia fan, but other than that, she's a nice lady, says she loves the show. So, but Daniel, how are we going to make our money on this Ohio State TCU game? Is it still at 12.5 and 60 on the over and under?
It's like 12.5 and 13, and at one point it was 60 on the over and under. Now it's like 59. So for the longest time, and even on Paul's show, I was talking about liking the over, and that's still not a bad play. But for me, on that 12-13, I'm kind of leaning towards TCU now. And here's my rationale on that. Look, I know Ryan Day is over he's the interim coach, and he has a lot of talent he's working with. And without question, Ohio State's a more talented team than TCU. But they are playing in Dallas. And, Gary Patterson is a damn good football coach.
Yes,
and that's a lot different than trotting an interim coach out there against a Gary Patterson than it is against an Oregon State or some nobody like high school team that they played. And that's true with any kind of coach. If it was Urban Meyer going into that game, I would feel comfortable with them hitting that 13 and being all right with that. But when you have an interim coach going against an established coach like Gary Patterson with in-game decisions, big game on the line, I'm not saying Ohio State loses it. I don't feel that kind of aspect about it. But I wouldn't be surprised if TCU covered that 13. I think that they have enough there. And this is the first time Ohio State's really gotten hit back. I mean, this is, like TCU has enough to kind of pop them in the mouth a little bit and see how they respond. So I think Ohio State wins the game, but I like TCU on the line.
Well, you know what I said on my Facebook Live? I when he was chirping about Ohio State and 12.5, I said, put your money on TCU. I'm sticking with it. So mark that down for the two of us. Mark that down for the two of us, and we'll check it later. What do you think, Rover? This Ohio State, you're kind of an outsider over there in Philadelphia. What do you think? Do you think we're right about putting our money on TCU, 12.5?
I mean, I wouldn't feel too confident, and that's because Ohio State on the road, it's one of the best programs on the road, just under Urban Meyer. I mean, that game against Oklahoma and Norman a couple of years ago, Ohio State was really able to control that game. I look at this quarterback now, and this quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, he might even be more talented at this time in college than Alex Smith was at Utah. So it's one of the most talented players that Urban Meyer and Ohio State has at that position. They have Mike Weber. They have Dobbins. So offensively, it's just going to be a lot. And it's a difficult game to predict. I tried to watch TCU last week on a Friday night. The weather was terrible. It was really hard to gauge whether they could, really play well offensively. I do like the over because both teams are kind of playing the spread offense. And I do like Sonny Cumbie. Sonny Cumbie is going to be a good coach. He's the TCU offensive coordinator. I'm going to take Ohio State, though, in this spot. I'm going to take the Buckeyes here with a big win, maybe by like 20 points.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the final thing there, too, is this just reminds me of the situation that FSU had. And it's not entirely the same, but like when Jameis Winston was suspended in 2014, and they had to gut out a lot of kind of games like 16-14 with like backup quarterbacks and things like that. I just think when you're playing an interim coach and, I get that Ohio State has the talent, but again, this is the first one on the road and they're trying to gut this one out before Urban gets back. I just think that I could see it being a little bit tighter than people think. So that's just my feeling.
And for Gary Patterson, this is one of the biggest games since they've had like Boykin, since they played, almost for that. They almost made the playoff, I think, in its inaugural year. So it's going to be a wild atmosphere there. It's an exciting game for Gary Patterson. I'm curious about TCU to see, how this program can stack up because they've kind of been quiet the last couple of years.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, now you're getting me second guessing myself, but I'm going to stick with TCU. You can't change your mind in this business. Because our gut instinct has been right, hadn't let us down yet, Daniel. But what else is out there?
Too bad.
We got
let's
Texas.
talk about
Go ahead.
Let's talk about Alabama and Ole Miss.
Okay, I'm listening.
So here's the thing: the over and under on that game.
Whoa! Let me stop this train. I'm gonna give this guy, and if he starts popping off at the mouth too much, I'm gonna give him about a minute, and we'll get into that Alabama game. But I've got delusional Paul calling in, and I'm gonna give him a minute, and I got my victory cigar out for our, because we're gonna beat UTEP, so I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up. So Paul, I'm gonna give you a chance to defend your honor. We're listening.
Dwayne Haskins has been throwing the ball all over the field with accuracy. You're going to put them boys in a dome. They're playing in Jerry's World, Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Mike Weber, Dobbins, they're going to be running all over the place. Ohio State's going to put a lot of points on the board, Bobby. I like you as a friend. I don't want to see you lose money. I think Ohio State's going to cover those 12.5 points. The only question mark is how much trickery would that spread TCU offense do against our defense, which has had a couple puzzling, question marks throughout the season. But at the end of the day, with Haskins throwing the ball, we have a really good offensive line, we have a really good receiver unit, and we have two really good quarterbacks. So I just think it's going to be Ohio State's going to put so many points on the board. When it's all said and done, they're going to win by more than 12.5. I know Couch Coach has a good history with these games, but I think you guys are messing up on this one big time.
Okay. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to play TCU on that 12.5 or at plus 12.5, and I'm going to take the over. And one of those things is going to be right, maybe both of them. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, let me jump in here.
You're going to hedge your bet.
Let me rain on your parade. Now, I sat back and I had my victory cigar. I'll let you get on your soapbox. So let me talk to you just for a second. I know you're a homer. That's fine. I'm a homer. We're all homers. But look, Haskins has only had one good half against a mediocre Michigan team. He's played Oregon State. Do you know how bad Oregon State is? And who else have they played? Who do they play? I forgot who it was now, but he hasn't played anybody. And you already have him winning the Heisman Trophy. I think you're putting too much stock on Haskins.
We've played two Power 5 games. One against the Pac-12, one against the Big Ten, and we dominated both games. And Haskins played in the Big House. Ohio State was losing in the big game last year. Is Le'Veon Fuego still on the horn?
I think I am, Paul.
What happened?
Dude, I was at that game. That's the first Ohio State-Michigan game I've ever gone to. And, so I get the point, a mediocre Michigan team, but it's not a mediocre Michigan defense. I mean, past 3 years we've been a top 3 defense. So we do put a lot of pressure on the ball, and Haskins was able to kind of dunk it across the middle, but he threw some deep ones that got behind our corners, and I mean, he really moved the ball against us. Barrett was absolutely struggling against Michigan. Ohio State was going to lose at Michigan had Barrett not got injured and Haskins not come in. So I think Haskins is just – he's got ice in his veins. He's young, but he doesn't care. He really doesn't care. I think he's going to play fine. But against your point, Paul, I just think TCU, man, I mean, you guys gave up 196 rushing yards against Oregon State. So I really think TCU is going to be able to use that rushing attack to really kind of limit your defense. And I think it'll be high scoring, but I just don't see you guys covering that spread.
All right, I want to jump in here. Paul, you'd better stay on the line because I got a surprise for you. If everybody that's watching this, we've got a surprise for Paul. Everybody go get your popcorn. I believe we've got Uncle Lou on the line. Is that you, Uncle Lou?
Yeah, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here, though, shout out to Paul representing the two-teamers. Yeah, we miss you being a Georgia fan, but anyway, it is what it is. Well, hey, you may be a Georgia fan this December, too, if things go like they probably are going to go for your second team, Ohio State. But Ohio State will roll this week. They'll beat TCU by 3 scores without a problem. Same thing with Alabama and Ole Miss. Those are going to be 2 blowouts there. LSU in the barn, that'd be a good game, playing for second or third place in the West. Let's see. Give me the barn and a close one, though. It's at home. Barn pretty good at home. Can't play outside the state of Alabama, though. Let's see. Well, what other game? Well, Georgia will roll. You already know. Playing our third. This will be our third game in a row. We've had to pay a team $1.5 million just to humiliate them. Now, that really is a bad schedule. Austin Peay paid them off. South Carolina, I don't know what we had to pay them, probably $1.5 million. Now we played Middle Tennessee State, $1.5 million. But, hey, Daniel.
Yes, sir.
I bust my ass. So you watch who you're mouthing off to. Jerk off.
Yeah. Funny guy.
All right, we've got Bobby Durkin's going to be on hold, and we'll get to him in a minute. But let's go to the next game, Alabama and who?
Wait, where'd Uncle Lou go?
He's gone. So
what I can say about Uncle Lou and these SEC guys is you guys don't play anybody. Ohio State actually goes and plays this tough we play the what are they? Big 12. Georgia, you guys play Austin Peay in these high school games. It drives me crazy. Ohio State actually has the courage to schedule these tough non-conference games.
Well, they did go to Notre Dame last year.
Yeah, they went to Notre Dame last year. I mean, we played in the SEC, Paul. We've got enough to deal with in the conference to be worried about scheduling too much outside the conference.
Think about it like this: if Ohio State didn't schedule Oklahoma last year and lose that game, then we would have went to the national championship and Alabama would have had.
All right, now I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
Alabama won. Moving on. Thanks for calling in, Paul.
We got the trolls. Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. We got the trolls and the Cretans calling in now with their homemade T-shirts and everything. So let's move on to another segment, shall we?
Yes, let's go to Alabama and Ole Miss. This is an intriguing game. What do you think, Spence? I'm going to ask you first.
Yeah, I mean, this game is going to be so much fun. I mean, it's going to be a track meet in Oxford, the nasty wideouts, the NWO. We got A.J. Brown and Kalen Metcalf. Finally, they got a running back at Mississippi. I think they picked them up from Columbus, Mississippi. The name just escapes me. So they have a tremendous offense. Jordan Teamu, he actually looks better than Shea Patterson. So I kind of understand why Shea Patterson left. Now, this defense, I don't know if they were playing possum last week, Catfish, but they played Southern Illinois. Brandon Jacobs is old school. They gave up 40 points to an FCS program, Southern Illinois. So Willie McGriff or Bob McGriff, his defense is going to have to play a lot better this week. It's a 21-point game. I love Mississippi's offense, and I'm going to take the Rebels here to cover, and this game should be an absolute shootout. It is going to be a really fun watch on ESPN. Tua Tagovailoa, the best quarterback to play in college football, maybe in the last 10 years. He's going to be the number one draft pick in 2 years. We're going to have Drew Lock next year, and then we're going to have Tua. Tua's winning the Heisman. He is the most special quarterback I have ever watched play the game of football.
Well, I think you're wrong on that. I've got Alabama winning by at least 24 to 28 points. I just don't think Ole Miss is going to be able to move the ball at all on Alabama. And I know Alabama's going to be able to run up and down the field on Ole Miss. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm listening, guys. I mean, honestly, at that 70, I love the over on the 70. I can't stay off the over and unders when it's 70. And the thing about Ole Miss and Alabama, look, I know Alabama blew them out last year, but Alabama has not played an offense yet this year. I mean, they really have not. And there's one team that they struggle with, especially last couple times at Ole Miss. It has been Ole Miss. And there's been times where I think Alabama's been favored by 18, 16, 13. And I've taken Ole Miss on that line, especially 2 years ago, and covered on that. Now, I'm a little hesitant on the side this year, but I do like the high scoring. I mean, I think Alabama's going to score some points. I mean, Tua is explosive. And I also like the fact that Ole Miss can put up some points too. I mean, I don't think Saban's going to hold these guys to 7 to 10 points is what I'm saying. I think they're going to score about 20 to 24 points in there. I could see it being like a 52-24 kind of game. But I do like Alabama straight up just because I don't think that Matt Luke is as good as Hugh Freeze. But I do like the over for sure.
And Daniel, this Alabama defense is young at spots. Their linebackers are hurt. you know, you look at their defensive tackles are pretty good. I guess Raekwon Davis is one of their best players, but they don't have the usual Jonathan Allen, Reuben Foster type of incredible pass rushers that they've had in the past.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that's going to be really exciting. I mean, Ole Miss, I mean, the way they played Texas Tech, that was an impressive game for old Matt Luke.
And since you had old neckbeard Uncle Lou on a second ago, you know, he actually talked in one of his preseason deals about this being a possible upset for Alabama as a team that can play up-tempo, can have quarterbacks, things like that. So, you know, he's talking out of his ass again and backtracking once again, because that's what he does. He makes predictions and he talks out of his ass and he backtracks out. So, you know, anyway, but like I said, when Alou was actually talking about stuff earlier in the season, he did talk about this being a possible upset, and it does have possible upset potential. So I do think that it's not a bad play to play that 21-22, but I do like the over on the 70 for sure.
Well, I just think Alabama's too strong, and maybe it's because I don't get to watch a lot of games live. Everything I do is over the radio, and I'm relying on Bleacher Report to get me my information and what highlights I get on YouTube. But I'm going to stick with Alabama winning big, and I'm going to go with the over. What about this Texas USC real quick? Where are we going to go on that? Is that something worth touching? Two mediocre teams that had a lot of potential at the beginning.
I'm not touching that one.
What's the line on the game? Do you know, Daniel?
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, I'm just that's not even one I'm even looking at. I do think there's one more game, fellas. I have to go here in a second.
All right.
But there is one more game in the SEC that I'm looking at, and it's Missouri and Purdue. And Purdue is starting the season 0-2. And Missouri has started off, 2-0. Now, they haven't played anybody, but they have a big matchup with Georgia next week. And I have talked to Georgia fans that, listen, between the two teams, South Carolina and Missouri, I said Missouri worried me more than South Carolina, and the reason being is Drew Lock. And they're pretty sporty in their play. Drew Lock can make some throws, and they're favored by 6 on the road. I think Missouri has to make a pretty good statement in this game, and I kind of think they will. And so that's going to be an intriguing matchup in the East if both of those teams start off 3-0 in the East. Now, obviously, Georgia has the better talent, right? But, they really took us to the wire, there a couple years ago. Drew Lock made some big throws. Now, Missouri is a team that doesn't play great defense. Barry Odom is not as good as Tinkle, so that's something to look at. But, Georgia, just like Alabama, they're breaking in some new guys kind of in some different spots there too. And so it's going to be interesting to see what that line's going to be. But I kind of am favoring Missouri there at 6 on the road.
Yeah, and Couch Coach, last year Purdue almost ended Barry Odom's carear. They went to Columbus. They went to Missouri last year, and they just put on, against the Tigers. I'm really interested to see how Derek Dooley freaking responds in this spot. I'm really curious to see about this pro-style offense. Missouri's defense is looking really good. Wyoming is a decent program. Craig Bull's a good coach, whatever. I thought they played well last week. I'm just a little scared about that game, and you make good points. Sindelar, one of their quarterbacks, is hurt, and Purdue lost to Eastern Michigan. I had Purdue last week, and I think Missouri will get a big win as well, though. I think I'm with you.
All right, fellas. Hey, listen, I have to get out here, but I appreciate you having me on, Volunteer Roadshow.
All right, buddy. Have a good one, and thanks. We'll do it again next week. And we've got a Clemson fan that wants to talk about the Ohio State TCU game. We've already covered it, but we're going to get him on here. I also wanted to tell everybody, One Voltard Forever, he has a YouTube channel. I want everybody to go sub him up. Just click on his profile pic or icon there, and it says go to channel, and get him some subs. He makes a few videos. But we've got somebody that lives near Lego on Flago. Bobby Durkins is on the line. He's a little crazy about his Clemson Tigers, who disappointed him big time last week. Disappointed probably everybody in the ACC. How you doing, Bobby?
Mother, how you doing? Good to talk to you. How you doing? I'll be with you. Hold on one sec. I'm sorry. You know how it is when you have kids. Hold on a second. Listen to me. If you kick your brother down there one more time and he swells up and I have to get him circumcised again, I swear on everything I am, I'm taking out of your teach bank. Till you 50. I don't care. Get on in there. Get on in. Hey, buddy, good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, listen to me. Let me talk about that Clemson game real quick. I'll be fast. Catfish.
All right.
I'll be
All
real
right.
fast.
Tell me.
Okay. A&M's better than what people think they are, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm thankful what happened the other night because we need to see that our defense, needs to stop paying attention to how many covers they're on sports magazine, and that our offense needs to stop being afraid of throwing the ball downfield. One of our offensive coordinators come out this week and went, man, they keep everybody stocked in the box against us. We can't move the ball. You're 9 deep at wide receiver. Throw it downfield. There you go. You're welcome. But cover. I tell you this. I think TCU covers, but I do agree. I think Ohio State wins. And with Mississippi and Alabama, I think Alabama's about to drag them. I think they're about to drag them. I think that they're tired of hearing about this little rivalry that they've had with Mississippi. And they're tired of hearing about it, and I think that Alabama is going to go in there, drop their drawers, and lay a peanut-filled dookie ball on them. That's what I think. How about you?
Well, I'm with you. I've got Alabama and the over. I've got TCU, and I'm going to go with the over. I've got Lego on Fuego. You need to go check him out. He's a Michigan fan, so he's probably going to disagree with you. But what did you want to say? You told the screener you wanted to talk about Ohio State and TCU. Did you say all you wanted to say about that game? I just don't. I just think that Urban is the factor.
I don't think I don't think it is. I think that Gary Patterson, who I like, is going to run it to the wire. But I think overall Ohio State, and I mean I'd rather eat puke than pull for them. I think they win. I mean I'm being honest. They're going to win this game. They got too much talent across the ball. I mean they're going to do it. I believe that with all my heart. I really do. That Texas game tomorrow. Who really cares who wins that game? Yeah. It's not like there's national implications on it. I mean, who cares? It's like, and you watch me. I mean, you are always on there. I appreciate it. But I talk about a shell of history. There's teams that historically they've done great things, but if we're talking about today, they ain't doing much. Both teams are a shell of history. They ain't nothing but a skeleton of the past. And so, whoever wins, it's like, okay, you're winning the award for who has less chromosomes than the other one. Who cares?
Well, I had Texas in my preseason Final Four just as a sleeper. I was taking a flyer on it, so if they hit, I look like a genius. But I really thought Herman was going to make a big jump in the Big 12 this year. Man, they let me down big time. And I hate to say it, Lego, but your Michigan team let me down. I had you in the playoffs, and now all I have left is Georgia and Clemson still in. So I'm half right so far.
Don't you write us out just yet, man. We got too hard of a schedule coming up, but let's see what happens first. It's still early.
Hey, buddy, it's good to talk to you. Hey there, how you doing? You did a good impression of me, by the way. I like that.
Oh, it wasn't me. I wish I could do that. Who did do that earlier?
I think Daniel did it.
I can't remember who did it.
Hey, Bobby, I want to say hi, Bobby. Thank you for calling in today, man. I'm a big fan. I'm also a friend of Pigskin Pete. And you're one of the best YouTubers, man. You just bring – I wish I had the energy that you have in your daily life. I need some of that energy that you have, Bobby.
Well, first of all, flattery will get you everywhere with me. I don't hold back anything. Thank you so much. I know all three of you. I mean, I sit there. I don't get to watch as much as I want because I know I got that job. I just got a promotion this week, euthanizing all the cats down at the homeless shelter. But I love it. I appreciate it. Y'all were great. I do appreciate that. It means a lot to me. I mean, I just love college football. What is better than college football? You don't have to worry with politics. You ain't got to worry about this. You ain't got to worry about that. You ain't got to worry about if somebody decides they're going to, quit playing because their stripper girlfriend stopped stripping. I love college football. But
and Bobby,
he's good Christian people. He's good Christian people. Go ahead.
And
you're going to say something.
Are you going to give Jimbo a little bit of credit for last week, or I know I'm not the biggest Jimbo guy either off the field. I mean, I thought Kellen Mond was surprising last week.
Here's the thing I'll say, and I said this on I did a post game review of that game. Jimbo Fisher. If anybody thinks that during the off season Jimbo Fisher was sitting there thinking about Northwestern State, I'm serious. I'm not making this up. I didn't even know there was Northwestern State until last week.
Me neither.
I found out that was a first game for them. I didn't know it. I knew of Northwestern. But I didn't know Northwestern State. If anybody thinks that man was sitting there thinking about Northwestern State, you are on the wrong type of mess. That man had Clemson circled, and he was looking at them saying, these are the guys who took away my praise and glory out of the ACC. I could keep going to the Orange Bowl, or I could make it to whatever little decent bowl, as long as these guys were under me. These are the ones who ruined it for me. Here's another thing. I've said this. Texas A&M, anybody think Texas A&M ain't got talent, you don't know college football. They've had, the problem with Texas A&M is that they have not been able to get their talent to develop and to gel together. So I knew Kellen Mond was going to come out there, and he was going to play hard. Did I think it was going to be that close? I'll be honest, no. But they did a really good job. I'm glad it happened to Clemson. Clemson needs to see that a boy can go up there and throw for 430 yards. They need to look at each other and say, instead of sliding down cardboard down the side of Hartwell Dam, we need to go work harder, guys.
When Clemson gets those scares, they turn it up from there, man. They've done it. They've been notorious for it.
Yep.
Well, I want to know.
Hey,
Bobby, I want to know something. Clemson was supposed to win this by a mile. I had them winning. Y'all maybe lose a little bit of money, but I forgive you for that. But I want to know your perspective. I've got Couch Coach's perspective and a couple other buddies. But this call about this touchback fumble out of the back of the end zone, how do you see that play, and do you think it affected the outcome of the game?
The truth of it is, for you to know whether the ball's touched back, you got to have a camera. And how funny is it that they have all these 75 angles? Like you log into ESP watching Fling or something like that, they give you 7 different options to be able to watch the ball game. Of course, they wouldn't have a camera running right down the middle of the sideline where you can see whether the ball went out or not. Seriously, think about that.
Have you guys seen the fan video from the front row? Have you seen that on YouTube yet?
No.
There's a fan that took a video on his cell phone, and it shows about as best of angle you can see, way better than all the angles that ESPN showed on any of them. So, I mean, it still looks like it came out early to me at the 1-yard line, but it's one of those bang plays if you go either way. I mean, as a Michigan fan, when Ohio State, did or did not get that first down for J.T. Barrett a couple years ago, I mean, I wasn't mad about that play. I was like, it's bang. They got to make a decision. So,
but you know what? You know what saving grace is, catfishing, guys. Here's the deal: did A&M get the ball back after that? Yes. Did they score a touchdown? Yes. Did they convert the 2-point conversion? No. So you can sit there and say, and I agree with time limits. Y'all know me, I'm sensible. I'm not crazier than somebody who snorted a bunch of thyroid pills, which I don't know what that do. Would you get fat if you snorted thyroid? Anyway, but the thing about it is, seriously, guys, think about this. They did get the touchdown. Yeah. They did have a chance at 2-point conversion. They didn't get it. I mean, it was a good game. It was a really, really good game. If we lost the game, I'd be mad as nails and, be threatening some people's lives on the coaching staff. But, aside from that.
Not just that, Bobby, but, when Mond gets that first down and he gets injured and they bring in Starkle, I mean, A&M shot themselves in the foot over and over and over again. So Starkle comes in and they want to run a pass right up the middle of the field to the end zone. It's kind of like, what are you doing? This is a backup quarterback. And I know Starkle's a very capable backup quarterback, but most times when a backup quarterback comes in like that, you stay conservative. You go to the running back. You do a draw play. You do a screen, something like that. So I mean, they shot themselves in the foot over and over again. Go ahead.
I was surprised too with you. I thought, but I know that Starkle is capable. I agree with you. You know, and then on the other side, the rebuttal to that is we had the ball at the 1 yard line. Who knew we'd fumble the snap, and they ended up getting the ball. There was a lot of washouts there. There was a lot of washouts across the board. There was that one. You know, I was sitting there. That was the first thought I had was, oh, here it goes. And everybody's going to say, well, look, there it is. And then what did we do? We had a chance to hand the ball off, score a touchdown, go up by a lot of points. You know, what that does to somebody mentally, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And then we turn over the ball and, you know, at the 1 yard line. I mean, that gets a team jacked up. So I think overall it was a good game. I'm thankful for that game. I think this is going to help Clemson in the long run. Catfish, I'm going to jump to a game you care more about. I think the game's at Tennessee tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir. 12 o'clock.
Tennessee's going to win that game.
Oh, yeah. UTEP, we're going to win 63-7. I seen somebody put that in the comment. I really think this is, if we don't win that big, it's because we're going to be getting ready for Florida, who we're going to beat, by the way, Ryan Schrick. We're going to maybe treat it as a scrimmage and maybe look a little sloppy because we're maybe rotating the offensive line. Our offensive line is our biggest weak link on the team, that and the secondary, 3 starting freshmen. But I'm not worried about it. Even if we play sluggish, I really think we're going to treat it like a scrimmage. But I tell you what, guys, I appreciate this. A lot of y'all don't know that I do this. I'm sitting on the side of the road in my truck, and I can't idle my truck or run my APU because my mic is real sensitive. And I'm burning up out here in Lancaster, California, and I'm headed back east. I'm going to Illinois. But I appreciate all of y'all coming on the show. This has been really, really fun. I'm going to do a post game right after the game tomorrow. Wherever I'm at, I'm going to pull over and do the show. So y'all can check into that and call in and voice your opinion. But don't forget about, you can buy your tickets to go fishing with me October 6th in Lenoir City with Tennessee River Monsters. The tickets are $5 a piece. It goes to Fishing for Soldiers, and I want to thank Jason McCormick with Fishing for Soldiers that came on the show earlier. Great organization. And just email me at volunteerroadshow@gmail, the number of tickets you want, and I'll send you a PayPal invoice. And I'm going to get on out of here. I really do appreciate it. I see Slim Mosley's in the house. Let's see who else. I'm going to do a quick run through of who all's in the house before I get out of here. And but I really have to get going. I think I said Paul, Delusional Paul, is he still in here? Ryan's here. Thank you, Lego on Fuego. Y'all go check him out. BVD FRN ZWBR. He's in the house. George is a good Gator fan. George, we're coming for you next week. You and Ryan better buckle up. Tennessee Vol 09er. All you guys, man, I just really appreciate y'all supporting me. I never thought in a million years I'd have so many people want to hear what an old truck driver named Catfish had to say, and we've got some great things in store, so y'all know what's coming next. Thanks for tuning in. Go Vols. We're going to a bowl game, and we're kicking Florida's butt next week. I promise you that.